Hey guys, this is Matt for Creative, and today we're taking a look at Polaroid and Instax, Fuji Instax in 2023 with the release of their new models. I made videos on, well, I guess technically 3 cameras that came out. So this is the Instax Mini 12. This is the Polaroid Now Plus. There's also the regular Polaroid Now Generation 2, and they're basically, I mean, functionally I use them as the same. There is one main difference, 2 main differences. You can adjust settings on your phone through Bluetooth. I never do that personally, and this one has a tripod mount where the regular Now does not have a tripod mount. But we're going to be looking at these 2 cameras, and think about when I mention this, think about the other camera that is kind of like the no Bluetooth version without a tripod mount. But we'll see how instant photography is doing in 2023 and which one is better. And it's kind of going to be like there's going to be something out of left field, because with these 2 cameras, if you just look at these 2, replacing the versions before it, replacing the 11 and replacing the Gen 1, they did not do much. They didn't do much at all. With photography, film photography, as big as it was the last few years, it's really been falling hard on its face to trying to like make itself more relevant, better, and to stick around. It is honestly my thought that film photography is kind of on its way out again, because of high film costs. Now I know that Instax, Fuji Instax film, mini, wide, and all of that, has not seen a price increase, and that is great. It's really the same with Polaroid Film 2, not an increase, but this has always been more expensive. It's a bigger format. This has always been less expensive just because it's a smaller format. But just to begin, you go for Instax because it gives you a more consistent picture, a more kind of crisp picture, and if you want to take a picture of somebody or a thing, you're most likely going to get the same type of image if you take it over and over with multiple packs of film over different cameras. And with this, you're going to kind of get more variations on it. People can call it artsy, but for me, if it's inconsistent, I want to control the artsiness, and I guess you could by playing with settings, but for me, I want it to be dumbed down, controlled, and just be basic. Just work the same every time, and let me add my artistic touches on top of it. So what did they do? Well, honestly, what did they do? With this camera, and at least my camera and other cameras, is they have made the photos softer. They have made them softer, just maybe due to a glitch in the focusing of the lens, because the lens is going to be, you turn it to be on, and you turn it again to be close up. I have not found them to be as crisp as last generations, and I think that's just due to an issue in manufacturing. So, poor step. Maybe they're going to fix this, but it's not only me who's been saying that the pictures have been softer this time around. They have added some contrast, but for me, I kind of like a more airy look to my stuff anyway, so I can see the details in the shadows. So for me, not a fan of that. What did they do with the Now and the Now Plus in Generation 2? Picture-wise, nothing. Zero. Nothing at all in the cameras that I've used, and in people have, I can't even talk today, and in what people have been telling me as well. Functionally, the issues of overexposure that the Now Plus 2, Generation 2 has had, are still prevalent with this camera, and that's unfortunate because really all it should be is just do a firmware update. The old one had micro USB. Really figure out a way to update the firmware, plug it into a computer. People can do that now and just fix it. Now this one has USB-C for just battery charging. Again, and maybe for the first time, I love that this has an internal battery. I hate that this uses AAA or AA batteries. I hate those types of batteries. I never want to carry them around. I just want this to plug in and work. If they had done that, that would have been a major change and maybe a total shift towards this format. But for me, I like having this plug in, charge up, and just be good on battery until I need to plug it in and trickle charge it for a little bit, and it'll be good for basically like a month for my use. I'm super happy with that. But that's like the one thing that this has going for it. It's a bigger format. I do miss like the SX70 type of cameras, and I wish they would do something like that. I just don't think that's something they're ever going to do. But that's something that they're never going to do. They're also never going to give you a more premium camera. There's another camera that I just made a video on, and again, this is supposed to be just a comparison between these two cameras. But if you ever want a crisp image taking instant camera that's consistent and has a wider lens, this is the Lomography Lomo Instant Automat Glass Edition. That means this has a glass lens. Take a look at the other video that I did. Take a look at the photos from that other video, because this is my favorite camera that is available on the market today. I think this goes for like about 200 bucks. It just blows these two out of the water in terms of just pick up and go. I'm extremely disappointed in what these two camera manufacturers have done. Regular 35mm film is getting too expensive for people. For me, I had a Canon AE program. Unfortunately, that camera broke. Something happened with the shutter, or I think it's going to be, they quoted like a $260 fix. I just never got it fixed. It's something where I loved getting the images back. I did not like that I couldn't play with them as much as a raw format digital camera. And for me, the prices of film were just too far up, and I'm just like, I'm out, guys. I still have a functioning Kyocera Slim T, which is kind of like the Yashica T4. It is the Yashica T4 under a different branding. And I still have it, but I haven't used it. I was so into film until this Canon AE1 just had a random break that it's like I've fallen out of love with this stuff. The only things that are really kind of sticking with me are instant cameras. And when I saw the announcement that these were going to get upgrades, I was extremely excited. I was wondering what they're going to add, and they didn't. They didn't add anything. They didn't make these better cameras. It is like a complete disappointment. And that's not to say that if you've never had an instant camera that these are bad cameras. It's that you've had so much momentum over 35mm film and instant film that you should really carry that over and make impressive products and just make it more appealing to people. Like, make the cheapest camera that you can, make it slimmer, don't make it so cloudy and bubbly, make it as dirt cheap as possible, because these already are cheaper than Polaroids, even the regular Polaroid, think of that one. But I know these are plastic already, and I know there's only so much that you can do, but you need to bring down the prices of the cameras, you need to bring down the prices of the film. I know it's hard to produce film, and having such a big demand has kind of like, it's caused issues with making this film. Like, literally the only thing that I've really liked from Polaroid this year has been that reclaimed blue edition film. That's beautiful film. It's a great look, and it just works for all cameras. But for me, it's just like the cameras that you made fell flat. I really think they fell flat from both manufacturers, and it's going to take another couple years before they release something else, because Polaroid is a small company, and the portion of Fujifilm, which is focusing on Instax, they're not really giving them too much. Like, I remember the big new camera that they came out with was the Evo. I hate that camera. The pictures from it look crappy digital. Like, this may be something that you guys don't like hearing right now, but that kind of like digicam look, I really don't like it, because I want to work off a crisp image, and then I want to degrade that. I want to make that look like a digicam, but I want to have that recoverable, out of camera, just like good looking image. because once you go back and you have all these images, you can't go and mess up the old Digicam footage. It's always just going to look like that. And if you want to recover more detail, you can't. At least for now, you can't. There are some recovery systems, and maybe in a few years they'll be a lot better. But for right now, it's not going to do anything to it. So I know that's a little bit of a tangent, but if you are looking for a new instant camera, these will do the trick. This one is the best. Get this one. But if you're at a Target, if you're at any store that has these ones, pick them up. And this is only if you don't have like an 11. If you have an 11, do not get the 12. If you have a Gen 1 of this, do not get this, because the only real big difference for you guys is that port. But they're fun. Instant cameras are so much fun. And I think I had expectations when I heard about an announcement, and it's just something that really kind of like, I hurt myself with that, expecting to be a big difference. But you know what? Maybe they did change something inside here, because with inflation, these things should be going up in price. Maybe they cut costs here and they cut costs here. And maybe there's just something I don't see inside this. But for me, I really wish that it was just like a bigger change, maybe a price cut or something like that, just to make it something that help people get into film photography more, because I think instant film is what's going to be saving film photography from now on. With the price increases from 35 millimeters, just too much. People just don't care anymore. I have a place in New York that does 35 millimeter film processing. It gets back in 2 hours, but still it's much. You know, you got to drop things off. You can't recover detail. It's just, you know, I don't know. I don't know what to do much anymore. I shoot with digital. I was extremely into film. Instant film first, then 35 millimeter, now back into instant film because that's all I have available to me. And again, it's a company outside of these two that has made the current, my favorite, perfect camera. Just do this. Do this. A Brooklyn company, Lomography, did that. They did that before you guys. And this is why I like Instax. Fujifilm Instax. They will allow other manufacturers to make their products. They made a better product than this one. You can have the cheapy version. They also have cheaper versions as well, Lomography does. But this one is the camera to get if you really care about your images more than just like a party camera. With this, I understand that Polaroid is a small company. You have to sell those units and make money on those units. Hopefully, you have to sell that film, make money on that film, hopefully, but let other people do it. I guarantee if you allowed people to make a camera, Lomography or some other company would make at least this with a glass lens, or just an overall better camera, an I-type camera, or maybe a 600 camera, or something like that. What I would love to see is the SX70 type of camera with I-type, like using I-type film. Maybe it doesn't have to be metal, maybe it has to be metal for that kind of compact structure, but I want this to be flat. Man, how good would that be if it was like flat as this? If this folded down, it'd be like the size of an Instax camera. That would help out so much for this format. That would be beautiful. This is a call for Instax, Fujifilm Instax, and for Polaroid, do better, because these are good for now, but you gotta do better for us people who have been sticking with you for such a long time. All right, guys, let's get that thumbnail. Should I look upset? Yeah, I think that actually works. But thank you, guys. Put everything in the comment section below. Don't forget I'm on Instagram at m8b9. You can email me at matt8b9@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.